usual fight with someone trying to present is this one. Is where are you? This one. This one. Okay. Oh, finally, I made it. Yeah, one day I'm going to master some things. It breaks so things in so freaking many windows. I'm presenting the slides, yes?
Yes, we can see this one.
Okay, good. Okay, so um, let me do this. Let me. Okay, so as usual, this is the Identus / Open Enterprise agent maintainers and contributor call. Here we have our antitrust policy notice from Hyperledger. And as usual, remember to adhere to the codes of conduct from the Hyperledger community members. For today, I think we have a short agenda. As usual, we will have introductions. We will share some updates. I will present a new idea that I had recently related to a working group. I think we don't have ADRs today, but we will check. We will go around the open issues and then our usual Q&A. So I think we have someone new today. It was Lawrence. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hey guys, yeah, I'm Lawrence. So again, thanks for everything you guys are doing. Super awesome. I was really cool to be able to just jump in and get things going in pretty short order. So that was great. Basically, I'm here in Toronto, and I run the meetup here. I also teach at the blockchain at one of the colleges here. So I teach some courses. I also do smart contract consulting and development. So I've been spending most of my time on that piece, but I have now got some interest and some opportunities to work in the SSI space. So that's why I'm kind of diving in here. And I just wanted to join the call to see kind of what's going on and help out wherever I can. Okay, thanks.
Okay, thanks and welcome to the community. Do we have anyone else that is new? I think all the other people has been here before, so we can continue. Updates. Recently, we released version 2.11 of Atala Prism. Oops. That version, let me see in the release notes. I think there are only updates on the Cloud Agent. Also, there are updates in the Apollo cryptocurrency library. And it looks like the other components have no change. Mainly what we see here in the agent are a few new features, revocation for JWT potential, verification for random creds, make the connection pool size configurable, well, some configuration option there, an upgrade in the key clock, some bug fixes. I see in here. Let's see, mediator didn't change. There are corresponding updates in the documentation. And basically that's it related to new features. I don't see any mention here of what was updated in Apollo, but I guess something was most likely improve it. So yeah, it's a small release that we had this time. If you have questions about it, feel free to reach our developers in Discord or ask later today in the Q&A section. What else do we have here? Regarding the Identus project proposal, well, we continue moving forward the process. Basically, this is submitted via PR. We did that a few weeks ago, like not the last week, but the week before. That already has been reviewed by some Hyperledger TOCs. You can see here that there are already some conversation going on. Tracy made some comments about it, so I replied to that. Basically, what is next is we are going to present this formally this Thursday to the Hyperledger TOC. And after that, well, we need to wait for their decision if they want to accept Identus as an Hyperledger project. Hopefully, everything goes okay, and we will be able to continue moving forward with this endeavor.
So it's one quick question with that. If they do reject it as a project, is it possible to submit another project proposal late in the future based on the reasons for rejection?
Yeah, I don't think there is well, I haven't heard of an impossibility of reapplying.
Okay.
Assuming that hopefully it's not the case, but assuming that they decide that they don't want the project at this moment, I guess we continue growing as a lab. We can continue maturing, pretty much doing the same that we are doing, but just maturing a little bit more as an Hyperledger lab. That will be an option. And then after some time passes and whatever things needs to be sorted out is sorted out, I guess we can reapply eventually. But hopefully everything goes okay. That's the expectation. Really, the only concern that I have heard so far from the Hyperledger TOC members is the similarities between Hyperledger Aries and Identus. That is the main point of concern because actually they are very similar projects in principle, right? We actually even adopt quite a few things from Aries. So yeah, so far that's the only concern that I have heard from them. All the other matters are pretty much okay. So we will see. Hopefully everything goes okay.
Cool.
So next topic. This is an idea that I had like yesterday. The idea is to start a working group. I need to work in the concept of this. Well, the general idea is to create a working group to explore how to use SSI with decentralized applications. Basically goes along of how do we use Identus and Cardano, or Identus and Midnight, or Identus and other kind of blockchain applications that allow the development of the apps. So it's a little bit of exploratory working group. The idea is to hopefully create some sort of reference model that we can document an offer to anyone who is looking into having this kind of integrations of the apps and SSI, and hopefully create even a small POC. So yeah, the idea is to make this a light touch thing, kind of informal, just have a free flow of ideas of how can we do this integration of the apps and SSI. And yeah, I will need to work a little bit on the format of this working group, maybe schedule a few meetings every now and then to get whoever is interested to participate and collaborate and get ideas. So Yeah, that is something that I would like to hear maybe a little bit from you guys. If it's something that seems interesting, that can be a good idea. I would like to hear some from you, what you think about this.
I'm interested. Who else is in the group, or where I haven't heard that conversation before, but we or I personally and my team always think about or brainstorm possibilities with decentralized apps. So I'm very interested on merging smart contracts and SSI or leveraging both and kind of integrating with those. So I'm definitely in. If that group is open, I want to participate. Yeah.
Yeah, no, of course, the group will be absolutely open. Anyone can
Cool.
join. I need to formalize the concept a little bit because we haven't done working groups in this context before, but I'm pretty sure that it will be very straightforward. But yeah, I'm glad that there is some interest in the idea. I will be working on this, maturing the concept of the working group, and I will be giving you updates along the way.
Esteban, sorry, it's Eric here. I can't find the raised hand somewhere in the Zoom, so sorry, I'm going to interrupt you a little bit. I'm interested as well. My project initially was to combine SSI with Prism and Marlowe smart contract. In the end, the more I dig into Atala Prism and verified credentials, the more I think I can do it without the smart contract. So just for as an indication. So I'm really interested to go in this as well to see the implications and if there are any kind of standards to put in place between the smart contracts and the SSI as well. Thank you.
Yeah, no, that's actually really a good point, because I don't believe that there is going to be a single way of achieving this. Probably there are going to be different options on how to do this integration. Some people tend to like direct things into the integration with smart contracts directly. Other people think more about integration with the app directly rather than the smart contracts. So probably there are going to be different ways to achieve this, and maybe they will be depending of the use case. So that's the idea of the working group, actually, like explore what use cases, what options are there, when will be recommendable to do one thing or another. So yeah, all input will be appreciated. So I think we can move. Ben, we don't have any ADR today?
No, so no new ADRs. We decided maybe to stop writing new ADRs and start implementing existing one, which is which is a good point. So the update is that we implemented one of the ADR, which is around improving error handling and using zero failures and defects in a more consistent way in the code base, in the agent code base. So we implemented that ADR in the connect part of the agent. The goal now is to replicate that and implement it across the whole code base. So the tickets have been created and it's in the pipeline. And integration in Connect is not yet released, but it's in the main branch. So it will be part of the next release. So which is a good point. That's the update, yeah. No new ADRs for the rest.
Thanks for the update. Then we have open issues. I think Yuri is on PTO, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. Looks like there is a few new items here. Open 2 hours ago. But
yeah, it's me again. It's Eric.
okay.
You want me to comment or?
Yeah, maybe we can go very quickly on the.
So I had logged another issue 2 weeks ago regarding the DITCOM, which with the help of somebody else, we managed to kind of get around. And this is the, yeah, this one. And the workaround has been to reset everything, reinstall a full version. I mean, so I still don't know what happened, how it happened. I'm still quite convinced that there are some kind of bugs left, but at the moment, by reinstalling everything, it kind of works. So this one, I will let you decide what you do with it. You can close, or you can just work. I mean, keep it to review what happened. I've put all the log I could in there, but basically by reinstalling, deleting everything, reinstalling, I got around this. Now the 2 issues I've logged. One is a design one, pretty straightforward. If you want to go back to the top, the second one is maybe the most easy. I mean, I'm being picky here, but I don't like to see post with a /update. It should be a patch or a put. So maybe somebody will want to keep the 2 kind of. I understand you may not want to remove what's existing, but it should have been a patch. So just for you to see what you want to do here. So it's a quick one. And the previous one is slightly more annoying. So since I've got the DITCOM now, I managed to do my first verified credential. But before this, I got another error. And the fact is that it was very difficult to see it. When you take the documentation, you can create a DID, and by default, it will say you have a purpose authentication, and that's it. So you do not have a purpose for issuing a VC. And so you can, as an issuer, you can post an offer of a verified credential, and it will work. You can do everything until the end. It will work, and it will fail on the last post to issue the real credential. But you don't know why it's failed. And when you go to the logs, you find that in fact the DID, the original DID, did not have all the purpose that it required to do these transactions. So we let go all the transactions, we let the post work correctly, but in fact they should not have. They should not have. So it's going to block later. But you know, if we know from the start that the purpose is not correct, we should not let it go.
Yeah,
this is my point.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. It's
not major.
No, but it's a problem indeed. So I think we should definitely block offer creation if you don't have the necessary keys in your DID. So yeah, someone should have a look at that.
While we are here, maybe I have just one other question. It's a question. It's not necessarily a bug, but I just wonder why, when you get on Prism when you get the DID with the agent, you're going to get a DID like just the DID Prism, but you do not know the purpose of this DID. You do not know if it's a DID for authentication or a DID for issuance of VC, and unless you remember what you did, you will never know it. So is this on purpose, that you just for security purpose or whatever, that you do not know this, or should it be added to the GET?
Yeah, someone wants to reply, or
I feel like the documentation sort of, you know, it doesn't really very well explain that difference. You understand that difference when you start using it, right? And say, oh, if you are an issuer, your DID or their origin Prism needs to have these 2 things, right? The assertion method and the authentication. It does, but I feel it's important to people to understand that difference, but the documentation could be improved in that way. I feel like right now it's kind of on purpose, where you start with a simpler DID with just authentication. But if you follow the documentation, it's very easy to kind of, oh, I want to try to issue a verifiable credential. Great, I already have a DID, so I'm going to try that. And that's where you fall into that trap of, oh, it doesn't work because this DID that I used at the start will not be valid for an issuer DID. because it doesn't have the required keys to do the assertion. So I feel it's important for the documentation to show both, but really clearly state that, you know, it will fail if you tried it with the original date.
Yeah.
You need this, that's really all that needs to happen. It's the documentation should be improved in that sense. But I also feel like it's important to have these two ways, because if we start with the assumption that the date that you're creating will also be an issuer, you know, it's a nuance that it will be lost for somebody that's completely new, which is, in your case, you're studying this and kind of getting on board and finding all those problems. And I went through the same stage of, oh, I hit the exact same problem, but a year ago, basically. So I guess it's just about improving the documentation, but also the agents should fail. Like you said, you are completely right in saying it shouldn't fail at the end of the stage. It should fail very early, say, oh, this did is not really, it's not going to do what you want to do in the end. So that is an assertion that could be done also, or an improvement on the agent, but it's a combination of documentation and the agent kind of stopping you before it's, you know, before getting at the last step where it's going to try to do something that it doesn't have the requirements to do. That's my 2 cents on that.
Yeah.
Yes, Roberto, I agree. Just my last question was more regarding the get on the deed. If I issue 2 deeds for one entity, one deed with authentication only and one deed with authentication plus issuer, unless I remember, I will never have a way to know which one is which one. And that's my question. Is it on purpose? Is it by design that when we query a deed, we cannot know if it's an issuer or if it's not? Or is it a mistake?
No, I think, that's a very good question. I don't know if definitely when you resolve a deed, you see all the different keys that has associated the public keys. Yeah. So the purposes. So definitely when you resolve a deed on the payload, when you get back, when you unpack that resolved deed, you will know if that deed is able to issue or not. And maybe we could add like a function or something to kind of assert if that is a valid issue or date or not. So everything can stop before proceeding, right? Or so you can check, like the SDK could allow you, because right now the human has to check whether this date is valid for issuing or not. So maybe a small function in there that does that assertion for you in the SDK will be useful, where, oh, you just run this and then, oh, if it's valid issuer or whatever, valid this issuer, cool, then I can go on with my code, because that's also a problem that many people will find. Validating if the date is correct before proceeding, but on the SDK side too.
Yes.
Yeah, but definitely when you resolve a deed, you see the keys in there. So, but
I have not managed to do it. But when I get the deed, I only get the deed prism value, not all its attributes. It's what I mean.
I think it's because you have 2 sets of endpoints. So you have a deed registrar endpoints, and one of those endpoints allows you to get the DID, but there you don't see the deed document. But if you use the other endpoint, which is DID resolution, which is supposed to be public, there you will see the the keys. Yeah. So the reason why it's not in the DID registrar, to be honest, I don't know.
Okay.
But I can check that with Pat. But so yeah, what you should do is then use the DID resolution endpoint, which is just I think it's /DID. Yeah, it's /DID.
It's okay. Don't worry, I will find it. I don't want to monopolize the time here. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
Also, one quick thing now that we'll hear about the post changing to a patch. I think the reason, I might be wrong, but the reason is you cannot update something on chain. What you do is you invalidate the previous thing or the previous date or whatever. If you're updating a date what you're really doing, you're posting a new date on chain and kind of saying, here's the other one that's invalidated. If you add a key or whatever you do to that date, there's no really, a way to patch the ledger. So it's really adding on top of what's previously existing. So maybe that's the reason why you do the updates with post. And
I'm not convinced, frankly. You have a put schema registry author did ID, which is the same thing. The REST API is not supposed to reflect the fact that it's on chain or not on chain. It's a REST API. Anyway, I think it's a little comment. Yeah. Let's not have a dispute here about this. It's not the point.
Yeah. No, but it's a valid point. Cool.
Okay. So in general, these are interesting discussions to have. Basically, this is the kind of feedback that we require to improve what we are doing, and also let us know the points where things are not clear enough yet, and maybe we can improve a little bit on the explanations. So we already reviewed these three issues from Eric. We have this one from Heyem. I think Heyem is not in the call, but looks like there is a conversation already ongoing about this one.
Yeah, I can quickly summarize the problem.
Okay.
So I'm not really familiar what was done, but initially, the team around Socios were trying to publish a DIT on the pre-prod network, maybe even on the mainnet, and the DIT was, or the create operation was written on the chain, but the node didn't reflect the change. So I could see that the node or that the operation was on chain, but the node didn't change the status from publication pending. And I did some investigation and was seeing that some things were missing in the teller object, and Pat had a comment on that they can be missing. And so it's still the question why the operation, which is on chain, is not showing up in the node.
Okay.
So here I have a small additional question, because so when I was looking at operations on chain, I was seeing the last operation I was able to pass for Prism V2 was back in December. And since then, I haven't seen operations which at least I was able to parse. So the question to you, do you guys currently have a node on pre-prod running where you can create DITs on the pre-prod network and see them? Or did you also shut down all the nodes, all the V2 nodes, at least for pre-prod?
I'm not sure if we have V2 nodes running. I don't know, Benjamin, if we used to have one for the beta program, but I believe that was disconnected from the pre-prod a long time ago. So I'm not sure if we have one available right now. Yeah, I'm not sure if Ben, if you know.
No, I don't know. We should check that.
Yeah, probably not.
Would be really great if you can run this check on your side and try to create a DIT or publish a DIT on the pre-prod network and see if it shows up.
Okay. Yeah,
so otherwise there really might be a bug somewhere. The agent or the agent code isn't compatible with the current node version.
Okay, we will take a look on that. Hopefully we will be able to provide some access to pre-prod at some point. Because I think that having this test being done will help us to, well, to nail down these things and figure out if there is some sort of book somewhere. Let's see. We have this other book that is assigned to Yuri, has been around for a while. But Yuri is not here today. And I don't see any comments, so I think.
Yeah. That it's a typical problem of DITCOM when you run your website on HTTPS. That usually the DITCOM endpoint is not over HTTPS because you run the agent, locally and runs over HTTP. So whenever you want to put a web interface that usually is set up on HTTPS, and you try to connect to the endpoint for your DITCOM, it will just fail on a mixed content or whatever. It, of course, will block it, basically saying, nope, this is not secure too low. So it's, I don't know, it's kind of we solved that ourselves on cSign in a particular way that worked for us. But it's, I don't know if it's responsibility for the agent to solve that. But all I know is like it will be absolutely great if you can set up the agent endpoints over even Let's Encrypt, right? And I don't see that as a feature right now, or even being discussed. But maybe we can propose that because it's something that everyone will eventually face that problem. Because everything now runs on HTTPS. So I mean, I'm not really sure if you can do it directly with the agent. I'm sure it's possible, but it's really a kind of a feature that I feel it's required. What we did is you basically run a proxy, run that endpoint through a proxy, and that works. So, but that's I don't know why nobody has discussed that further, but I've seen that problem and we fixed it in our way. But it will be awesome if we could set up like some sort of like even Let's Encrypt certificate to run those endpoints for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That point was raised a couple of weeks ago, and I mean, we think it's not the right. I mean, doing that at the cloud agent itself is probably not the best place to do it within the Scala code base. But when you run the full stack, you have API 6, which sits in front of the cloud agent, and maybe we should investigate how to. There are probably existing plugins that allows you to automatically ask for a new certificate to Let's Encrypt and install it in API 6. Yeah, that's something someone is to investigate. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm almost sure that's possible because when I researched API 6, it's a very used, pattern. So it's common to add TLS to that. So I'm pretty sure it's like, of course, you will need some sort of, certbot. Usually there's two things like certbot running on a cron job to kind of update the cert, but you can tell API 6 to just look for a certificate in here, right? Yeah. And as long as the certificate is in there, it will launch with that and it will work. So yeah. Cool.
Okay. Yeah, it could also be a matter of just maybe documenting a workaround of how to set up the proxy and that kind of stuff. But let's wait that until Yuri comes back and see what he has been thinking about this, because I can see that he already labeled this as a documentation matter. Maybe he's planning on documenting a workaround or something like that. And the final one is the the memory leak that has been here. Yeah. Is there any additional
Oh yeah, so I'm also running out of disk space. So as just a small VM with like 30 gigabytes of disk space, and it has been running like for 1-2 months, and now it's full. I can't even start it booted anymore. So, so this might all be related in some fashion, but Yuri will have a look at it when he comes back, I guess.
Okay.
But I'm sorry, so Yuri found the same behavior too?
No.
Oh,
Not yet.
okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
if you have any ideas, and I don't think it's the agent itself. It might be some other component which is started, but it's an interesting long-term behavior.
Yeah. The only idea is the same one that we got this morning about the default password and all that, but I think you ruled that out.
No,
early,
that's not the case here.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm out of ideas. And actually, well, okay.
Do you have a logging software installed other than Grafana as a display? Because that's what I encountered when with our web hosting. The space just filled up randomly by gigabytes and gigabytes, and it took me some time to figure out that it was actually my my software that was tracking the rest. So maybe the logs are filling just up, and with that you're losing the space.
Yeah, that might be the case, but here it's really a clean VM just with the agent started, and it could definitely be the logs the agent is creating. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I guess we will continue seeing this in the coming weeks. One day we will figure out what's going on with that memory issue and now hard disk problem.
I have one more that I will send today, but I haven't had time to add it yet. But it's the same. It came up this morning again. The default password of the Postgre admin. So unfortunately, the setup to run it locally is very open, and it's fine when you run it on your own computer, and that's fine. But if you follow the instructions and you kind of want to set up a web server with those, it will expose the database on the public internet with the admin with default passwords. And that's what happened to me is, of course, bot, hijacked the database and then start to mine crypto. So, and another person had the same problem. And it's really all you need to do. The way I fix it is just not exposing those ports, outside of the internet. And that I feel it should be the default. So I'm gonna send a PR about that later today to kind of fix that. So in the future, nobody gets the same problem. But also I have a question about that specifically is, I know the releases, you guys release every couple of weeks. And so my question is whenever there's a security kind of related bug, is there any sort of way you guys, we're going to release this early or whatever, this is a security patch, rolled out, and you have a special treatment for those or not? Because those are going to be important when more people start using the agent. Right now, we're all like kind of a very close group, and we all been here from the beta and all that. But as soon as you are like a big project on IP Ledger or more people start using this, any security updates will be needed within hours or days, not like weeks, right? So is there any kind of protocol that you guys follow for those or not yet?
So maybe Benjamin? I mean, probably right now we don't have anything.
Yeah, that's the answer.
All right. Okay. So maybe
Knowing
that's
that
a good time to start thinking about
yeah,
that.
yeah, we know that we have to do that, but as you said, it's. I mean, we don't have real customers right now, so we should have that kind of procedure. But knowing that there is no production deployments, yeah, we do not treat those issues, and we never had that kind of issues. I mean, really security issue that popped up. But yeah, definitely, if we have that kind of problem, we should tackle that immediately and release immediately. So issuing a new fix or, but it's never happened.
Okay.
Actually.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, because I think we're all getting close to use this for production.
Yeah.
Like we are super close to that, and there's the mainnet or right into mainnet issue that we have to solve. I have to attempt that again. I want to like try it. So we're very, very close to kind of treating this as a production release. So that would be super important, Yeah. Yeah. So awesome. So I'm gonna send the PR today, and then that should be very, very easy to implement. That it's just not exposing those ports. So it's like a couple of lines on the Docker configuration.
Yeah, I remember that. Cool. Yeah, and I see that Michael is in the call. So regarding the security fixes or things like that, I think he is the right person to raise that in another meeting or yeah.
Great. Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So those are all the issues that are currently open. I don't have anything else in the agenda. So if anyone has questions. If there are no questions, any comment, feedback? Are we good?
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, well, that's all for today. Thank you very much for joining as usual. Fayad is still around.
Yep. Yeah.
Do you have any updates to share?
No, nothing as of yet. Next week we won't be having the community outreach call. I'll be on PTO, so we're gonna go ahead and cancel next week's community outreach call.
Okay.
That's about
So,
it.
if there is anything else, well, thank you very much for joining, and have a nice rest of the week.
Thanks, everyone.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Cheers, guys.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.